buddy.
How are you, son?
Yeah, good.
Are you
What you saying?
Cool.
Yeah.
You doing it now?
Sam, yeah.
Cool, good boy.
On a roll neck.
How you been?
Hot.
We're in really early today, aren't we?
Yeah.
I've got a few. There's pros and cons for coming in early.
Well, I'm telling you what. It's like Amsterdam out there. Bikes.
Where'd they all come from? Why are they?
You can't hear them. None of them have got bells.
No.
Electric cars.
Yes.
It's like you've got to look. You've got to look where you go. You've got to look where you're going, haven't you?
Have your pods in?
No.
You're banging trouble if you've got your pods in.
I'm not big on the headphones.
I got on the Cobham 855 today.
Oh, yeah.
Remo.
Was it?
Yeah, I had some bloke sat next to me, right? And he's just like, you know when you're already in your seat and then half a body comes on your half a body? And he starts coughing. And a bit of his splutter hit my blower. So I've gone, pal, turn it in. Like that. And he's gone, well, I've got a cough. I said, put your fucking hand over your mouth. Like, what is the matter? He's like, I'm like, what's he up to? I said, put your hand over your mouth. So that half went off on the train. So that is the first thing. That won't be happening again.
Well, you don't expect that in like Cobham, do you? You know, it's a very well-to-do.
Yeah, but they get on a Guildford.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Oh, Guildford.
It's the ropey lot.
Oh, tell you what, the Guildford, they're always gobbing and coughing and spluttering, isn't it?
It's the boys with no coin up the road.
There it is, the Guildford splatterer.
It's the paupers. It's the paupers of Surrey. Just crept in on the postcode.
He got consumption, hasn't he? Yeah.
I guess knows all about it, but we'll get to it in a minute. So we've got that, but there are pros. McDonald's breakfast as you turn up at Waterloo. Oh, the old double sausage.
Oh, did you?
That was a winner.
Yeah.
And then we finish early. So on the way back, we've got no splutterers over us. Yeah.
Really
Shall we
lovely.
Intro our guests in? Come on, enough, because this is good.
Welcome to FC Bullard. Hope you're enjoying it wherever you're
listening.
Consuming it. We are FC Bullard and we are creating a football club of sorts from scratch. El Presidente, James Richard Bullard, Director of Football, John Fendley. So yeah, we've got a manager, Mark White.
Yeah.
And congratulations to Mark White, who's just done 1,000 games.
That's right, I see that pop up.
1,000 games. And his coat, so apparently he's worn that same coat, the black coat he's got, for 1,000 games.
Really?
Apparently. But so I think they're auctioning it off.
But they go for a few quid. But it stinks. So he hasn't had that for 20 odd years, surely.
Yeah, but
he's renewed it, surely.
He just has the outfit though, doesn't he? Whatever you see him in, he's got like black bomber, black cap.
Do his cap.
Yeah. Oh no, I don't know that. But we should get the jacket on. I mean, he is our gaffer.
Yeah, all right. I'll pull him up. Yeah, definitely.
So we've got a gaffer. We've got a few players. Joey Cole. Who else we got? Sidders is in. He's in there. Came on a loan. So yeah, we've got. We're putting together the bones of a decent side. We've got a lot more backroom staff than we have players, but today we're going to rectify that because
we've got every job covered. In the back room.
Yeah, but today we are we're going to remedy that because we have got one of the. There aren't many people like this gentleman, this individual. He's a complete one-off. He's got a lot, and I am delighted that we can get him on board here at FC Bullard. Very good morning to the one and only Peter
Crouchy! He's in the house!
How are you, mate?
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Very nice reception.
Well,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, it's all right. I meant it.
Pleasure.
I meant it. How are you?
I'm good. Nice and early.
Yeah.
Good to be here, guys. Thank you.
You weren't on the with the Guildford Splitter?
No, do you know what happened to me? I was on a similar train,
but
I missed my one because there's traffic going through where I live. Nightmare. I missed it, and then so I just drove to another one.
Oh right, you've actually done the jet, right? Okay.
So you two live. You two are sort of in
around the corner.
out the sticks, aren't you? In like sort of football land.
It's a few round hours.
So you're keeping busy?
I've got loads going on.
Go on,
do a similar thing to this. Obviously, do the Peter Crouch pod.
You used to all this, didn't you?
That's what we do. Like, we started ours, in all honesty, to promote my book that I was doing, and then it just kind of took off and just loved it, and it's taken me to places that I never thought I'd go. You know, it just we've been doing it a long time now.
Trailblazer, mate.
Yeah.
When you say you've been doing it, you on about Therapy Crouch? You on about
the Peter Crouch pod? Yeah, the football podcast. But the Therapy Crouch, obviously, the same thing. I mean, I mean, I just get hammered for an hour and people love it. And the thing is, oh, it's so funny. I'm going, that's my life.
Yeah.
That's genuinely like how we live.
Yeah.
It's brilliant, that, mate. I've got to say, I watch that more than yours. I love it. I think she's brilliant as well. I thought you'd brought her along.
Do you know what, though? Because I think when you see her, it's probably a misconception, but like I knew how funny she can be.
Yeah,
so the minute, we
keep you on your toes, Crouchy,
yeah,
because she comes across like she's so sharp.
Yeah, so sharp.
Is that the scatter in her? She always had
I think so, yeah. Her dad's like it as well,
Right, okay.
Our brothers are the same. And
brilliant.
Yeah, quite often, people from Liverpool, they are sharp.
Yeah, they're absolutely, I love it.
So what's a typical day in your life like at the minute?
Well, I do obviously the football with TNT, so I'm doing obviously we've had a load of games recently, and I quite enjoy doing that because I quite like being around the footballers still, and around the players, it's good to be around, get the managers at the desk and sit and chat to them, which is nice. So it's nice to be around the live games, but yeah, my favourite thing I do is probably the podcast because it's just good fun.
Interesting to see what you think, because what we really enjoy, well, I certainly enjoy is doing this. So when you're doing telly, it's very, you got to be, you're on your toes all the time. You got to be really careful about what you say and what you ask, and you're listening, and you've got to stick to time and all that. When you've done the pod and then you go and do TNT, do you have to go right? Just not be too loose here. You've got to sort of rein yourself in a bit.
Reprogram, don't you?
Yeah, and I think sometimes you could see it maybe in the summer, you'll say things. I think it might have been on Gary Lineker's podcast when they were all it was like they were with their mates down the pub. Yeah, and you think they wouldn't do that on BBC when they're analysing the game.
Weird,
but it's so hard because you're just so comfortable in this surroundings. But I think that's what makes the podcast and what makes it better, because you see the footballers that you see normally really guarded, but when they're in this environment, that's what you want to see. You want to see the real people, and I think that's what you get from sitting down like this.
And I think podcasts have changed, starting to change, and will change the way in which TV's made, because I think everyone's familiar with listening to podcasts and certainly watching them now. So you see everyone being relaxed like this and just chilled out. So it's that's what you want from your TV. You don't want to see, hello, good morning, and welcome to the podcast. Today we're gonna have some great guests on. It's like I think back to Soccer M when you're doing all those intros and all that, and it's like, just get on with it. Waffling. Just get on with it and have a chat.
When you were at Soccer AM, though, that was groundbreaking, wasn't it? Because we'd only ever seen football as the same thing. Footballers being guarded. There was no real humour in it. And Soccer AM kind of broke the mould of that, didn't it?
Absolutely.
It did. Yeah. I mean,
you see them in a different light. That shadow, especially when you take them out the back and get the football out, and they're in their element. And you can have the crack. And I love that part.
Always a battle though. Is it still a battle, going, trying to kind of get things done within football clubs? There's always still that, we've got, this got to toe the party line, all that kind of stuff.
But Jim, right? So when you got to do an interview and things like that, the only thing you're trying to get out of the interview is not saying anything stupid. You're thinking, I hope that I do what I need to do, and none of it goes anywhere, and I don't see any of it. Genuinely, You just don't want to cause a headline. So as a footballer, your main job is that, but an element of it is you're contracted to do the press,
of course.
So on a Friday before you're playing, say Man United, you say something stupid and wind up one of their players. Everyone's like, what are you doing?
That's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's hard, because you're right. You've said it well, and you absolutely spot on the headline bit. You don't want it, absolutely, but you not find it hard when you're punditing. Do you not find it hard to go too much, too heavy on them? Do you get what I mean?
You know what? I feel like when I'm saying it, say on the TNT, and we're doing analyse a game, and I always want teams to do well, because I always think I can just say how good they are. Yeah. But when you can't sit there and say someone's played well when they haven't, right? So you just got to be honest. Yeah. The way I look at it is, could I look at Jimmy in the face? Yeah. When I leave the stadium and he says, "Why'd you say that?" If I'm honest and say, I'll give you these reasons.
That's unbelievable. You're the first footballer I've ever heard say that, and I'll say that a lot.
Oh, really?
I say that all the time.
Yeah, so if I wouldn't say anything, I would never cane someone. Like some of the things people say, I think, hold on, if you're going to see them outside, are you going to stick by that? Yeah. I'd say, look, as long as I can say, right, I agree with that, and I say, do you know what? this is what I feel and that's what I felt about your game. I think if you can have that discussion, then I think it's all right to say.
Yeah, I fucking love you even more for saying that.
Yeah. But that's what you said, and that's why
Absolutely.
that's why you've kind of probably not done as much punditry, isn't it? Because I
found it really hard. I did. I found it really hard to sort of. People say sit on the fence. It ain't that. I just got respect for others. Do you get what I mean? Till they upset me, and then I go in. But I'm totally with you, and I get that. But I've found punditry really hard because of that. I was quite. Yeah, no. When he's alongside you, how do you be that critique? It's quite difficult.
Yeah, but I don't mind. I don't mind being like negative about even someone who's my pal, because it's like they would say it themselves.
Yeah,
and I think they admit it. You know, it's not like I'm not going to go in and and actually sometimes they might think I'm wrong, and they go, yeah, that's just my opinion. You
know, it's like you got different types of pundits, haven't you? Like different types of players. You know, you've got ones who are going to go in and they're going to go in 2-footed and they're going to make a headline and they're going to do that because that's kind of
them,
and that's what the broadcasters want as well. You know, they're all looking for that.
Yeah.
They're all looking for a viral moment now, aren't they? They're all looking for that thing where they can bang it out when it's like eyeballs and it's like.
But I'll be honest, I'm not against it. I love them as well.
Yeah.
I love them.
It's great to watch.
Like Roy Keane. I don't mind saying. I love watching Roy Keane as a pundit. I think he's absolutely amazing, but I could never do that. He is, but he's been there, done it, worn a T-shirt. You know, does that come a little bit easier to him?
I think Roy would say it. I think like Roy, like you, I think Roy would say it, wouldn't he?
100%. And also, that's been his character when he was playing. Do you know what I mean? Like that's obviously in him.
Yes.
It might be a heightened a touch, but like that, you know, if I started coming out and doing that, hold on a minute. All my friends and family, who's this fella?
Yeah, it's just. Be yourself.
Yeah,
right?
and exactly right. And I think that stood me in such good stead because you can't when you start pretending to be someone else, it catch up with you in the end.
Is one. Have you got better with that with age, or did you have that ever since kid?
No, as a kid, you know, I wasn't. Yeah, I was a little bit. I would never say I was shy. Like I always like to laugh and a joke, but you know, like I've definitely got more confidence over the years. But I think that's everyone with age. You end up just going off. Can't be arsed with people that don't like you. It doesn't matter, does it? It's like. You just get more sure of yourself, I suppose. I think that's just age.
And while we're on work as well, you do a load of ads as well, and I love your ads.
Yeah,
like, so cheeky. The aerial one, just big deal, big spill. That's so good, Crouchy. When you go for these ads, what I want to know, because I've done a few. I'll get on a lot of your knockdowns, by the way. So the gigs Crouchy don't want, and I'm like. I'll get on that flick on. I'll have a piece of that. And some gigs that have been
flick on.
Or just like I'll jump on them basically and I'll have them. But you know when you go into them, like we're talking about ads now.
Yeah.
Have you ever gone into an ad, gone there and felt really uncomfortable and go, this ain't me? Like really awkward. Like some of them, Crouchy, I'm there and there's. What people don't realise as well, how many people behind the camera and they expect you to like red light animal do that and you're like, no, do you ever get really nervous? Yeah,
like 100%. Like that aerial one just worked because they're making a slightly longer tablet to go in the thing, right? Yeah. So who are they going to call, right?
It's bang on, it's tailor made though.
Have
you seen it?
I haven't seen it. No, I haven't.
A little clip over this.
Literally, it's a longer. They're just making a giant tablet, so obviously it's perfect for them. It goes in, it does double the washing, you know. But there's a couple of ones like obviously I work with Paddy Power a lot and they'll do like something. They'll come up with things, and I think that the guy's email is the Minister of Mischief or the Mayor of Mayhem or something at the bottom. He just comes up with these ridiculous ideas and then puts them to it. And sometimes I'm like, whoa, it's too much. But it was a couple. Well, I remember being in a bath of roses. And you know the scene from I think it was American Beauty, in the bath. Yeah, I said there's cameras overhead, Rob. But to say what you're saying is. There's 100 people behind the camera, and I'm almost like I've got my boxers on. They've just covered my bits with roses. And I like one of the guys was putting roses on me, and I went, "How did we get here?" Do you know that?
Yeah, so weird.
Playing football, like
what are you doing here?
Doing? I'm in a bed of like a bath of roses.
As well, the Barry one.
Oh, the one with Barry.
Brilliant, isn't it? When he nicks Abby off you. Are you ever on that? When they're doing that shoot, are you there? Are you watching that? Are you? It's brilliant.
With Ab and Barry. I mean, it's so bizarre watching her on the couch with Barry.
I think it's brilliant though.
And the worst thing is calling Barry's name Sean.
Yeah.
But everyone on
That's
set,
his real name.
he's a lovely fella. Like, I've done lots with Sean.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have. But he's such a lovely guy. But like, just amazing. Like how he's like I just love him as a person, and you just can't help calling him Barry.
Great actor, though.
Yeah, he's
like
honestly,
in that camera. That's his ball game.
Yeah, he's brilliant at it.
Yeah,
brilliant at it.
What was? I haven't dreamt it. Was it like an underwear thing that you were doing? Yeah. Well,
I wasn't doing it, but
you were involved, though, weren't you?
Yeah, certainly. Agent provocateur. Yeah, Ab did a. She was like an ambassador for them. She said, "Look, they've asked me to do this Christmas ad. Would you do a cameo? I feel much more comfortable if you did this. If the cameo
Ab's reeled you in. Yeah,
it's like a female underwear advert, right? So she said, "Look, I feel a lot more comfortable if you're there." And it's only a little cameo. I said, "It's all right. I'll come." Obviously, I haven't read one thing. Like I just didn't read the script or anything. Came down and it was more than cameo. Yeah.
Was it?
Well, she straddled me on the pool table, on the snooker table in underwear, and then I mean it was great.
Does that ever get boring?
Well, no, that was actually a really good date.
Sorry, I messed that one up. We're gonna have to go again.
You can't be moaning about that, Crouchy. What's the matter with you?
I think we've got that. No, I think I've got one more in me.
Listen,
one more.
Got people there.
I'm not moaning at all. No. But I just thought, some things are probably best left in private, I think.
Yeah.
But but she looked great, and I didn't completely cock it up.
No,
but it turned out well.
Brilliant, loved it. Come on, shall we get on a little bit of footy chat?
Yeah. So Peter, what we're going to do is we're going to interview you via the process of an interview. So we're going to, obviously, world-class goal scorer. How many England caps?
42.
I'd preferred a few more, but it's all right.
Yeah, I would like to have got to 50.
Another 8 would have done.
50 would have been nice.
So we're gonna chat about a role for you within the club. Whether you can still do it on the pitch. We can discuss that. Maybe a striker coach. There's lots of roles available, but we will get there through the course of this interview, and we're gonna kind of peel away at the onion and do a real deep dive into your goal scoring career. How does that sound?
That sounds fine. Yeah, I hope I get a role.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Did you miss football when you finished?
Yeah, I was saying to Jim there off air. Like I just feel blessed that I had the career that I had. I played for 20 years. I retired at 38 on my own terms. Like I probably could have done another year if I wanted to. But I retired, on my terms.
Yeah.
I feel like kind of blessed to have had that. Like, I miss it, but I don't like. I feel like I had that. That was my period of time, and I'm not better now. So I don't know why I would put on the boots again.
Sure. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I do miss the day-to-day stuff. There's nothing better. It was literally nothing better than playing. We had the best job in the world, right? But this is kind of second best what I'm doing now. Like I really enjoy being around the football, being around the lads, doing what I'm doing, and not really having a real job. I feel blessed that I've had it.
What was the best part of that job?
Football, yeah.
Yeah, I loved playing football. Like
the playing.
Yeah, the playing. Yeah, I would say so. Obviously, meeting great people as well, and like-minded people. Like the characters you meet in football, like from all across the globe as well. They opens your eyes to kind of every part of of culture as well, and meeting different people, seeing different languages and way people act, and of the ability to travel the world and just play football in all different parts of the globe. It's give you kind of everything, and at the end of the day, every single day I went into training, I went in with a smile on my face.
Yeah,
and I do miss that. Yeah,
I was going to say you strike me as someone who'd be like, oh, not training. I think you want to get in because you want to be amongst the lads.
When I watch people score a goal, right, and obviously you'd be the same because you played with a smile on your face. I look at people scoring a goal and running away and look like they got the weight of the world on your shoulders. Like, imagine scoring, put your team ahead. I understand if you're 4-0 down, but you've just put your team in it. You've got everyone on the stadium on your feet. They want to share that moment with you, and you look like you don't want to be there. can't get my head around it.
No.
Mad, innit?
I just cannot get my head around it. I'm like, look, this is what makes you happy.
Yeah, you're
like, that can't make you happy.
Yeah.
What makes you happy? And I know people, everyone's different. Might have problems off the field, but I found quite often if I had problems off the field, going into training, I came out of training just feeling so much better about my life.
That 3 o'clock buzz is like, people say like the banter and around the boys, and absolutely massive part of it. But the 3 o'clock, just that's
Did you get nervous, Jim? Like nervy before?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I think it's more anxious. Like I want to get just start well. I was big on just start well. Do you know what I mean? Have good getting a bit into football now. Have a good first touch, make your pass nice and simple, play your way into the game.
Yeah.
I used to love that. I used to love getting 5-3.
Yeah, but I was like with the nerves. Like that's what I kind of don't miss that. Like obviously I got better with time, but right in the early days, I remember first getting in. Like I've told this story on my pod, but like when I got on to the England. When I played for England for like first time, I remember the first game I started. I'm on. I think it was at Old Trafford, and I remember being on the bus and looking down and seeing a fella in a pub. And I've told this before, but and he was in the pub, and I'm on the England bus. I'm looking around. I've got Beckham, Lampard, Stevie, Rooney all around me, and I looked at the fella in the pub who was watching the game with a paper with his pint. And I thought, give anything to be him now.
Because of that nerve would be taking away the jangle.
I'm like, I was so anxious, and I was thinking, I'm starting for England, and I was thinking, look at him. He has got
lucky
bastard.
Lucky bastard. He has got care in the world.
Yeah.
He's going to put the game on and have a couple of pints and stroll home.
Well, fast forward 2.5 hours.
But then what I thought what was so good is when you go through that. Yeah, and it makes you a better player because it makes you run about more. It gets you more, more careful with your touch.
Without that, I don't think you're going to be Peter Crouch. Without that feeling, you need that jangliness, don't you?
Yeah, I need it. Yeah, 100%. And it was a buzz, and it's adrenaline, and then when you overcome it, there's nothing better in the world than knowing that you've overcome that, and you think, God, I'm so glad that I didn't.
It's a good one, right? Because you're a striker. Did you think strikers feel more pressure? Because I don't think there's another position on the pitch where, like, your game is dictated by goals, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you think as a striker you felt added more pressure because of your goal tallies?
Yeah.
Like, as me as centre midfielder, I'm just thinking, play my way into a game. If I set up a goal, brilliant. Brilliant. You've actually got to score, and if you don't score within 2-3 games, did you feel that?
Yeah, without doubt. Yeah, I think that's
a lot of jangliness?
Worst part. Yeah, that's the worst part of being a forward. You go, I missed one game. I'm like, well, I better score next one. And it's fucking no. And obviously, I had the period at Liverpool where I was going through that massive barren spell.
Did that get harder every game?
Yeah. And I was playing well.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like, but I felt I was probably doing too much because I think kind of Rafa wanted me to get involved in the build up a lot, and I found myself outside the box when the ball was coming in. I was playing a different way to when I was at Southampton. I was kind of the focal point, stay high, score a lot of goals. But yeah, I definitely was trying too hard, if you like.
Yeah.
But the team were winning.
The team were doing really well.
And you were playing. You were getting selected. You see, I think, I don't know what you think, but I think there's a lot. Even though you're a striker, and I get paid for scoring goals. There's a lot more to football, and I think that,
especially now,
proper football fans. I'm not saying I'm a pro football fan, but if you know a bit about football, it's like you can sort of go, well, he's playing well. It's like, and they're winning. So does it really matter? Yeah, it might matter to you because you goal scorer, and it's like it's all about the stats and all that. But it's like
there, isn't it? That's what I was saying.
Yeah,
it's question. It's bullshit. But when the noise is there,
and also you get ridiculed. So if you're a striker that doesn't score goals,
it's on you. However you want it.
It doesn't matter how you dress it up.
Yeah.
You become a laughing stock, and that's what I became at that time. People were laughing at me, literally, like it was embarrassing. It was you signed for the club. Bearing in mind, the club's just won the Champions League in one of the best finals we've ever seen, and then obviously sign me who doesn't score goals straight away. Like you're gonna get,
that's the headline, though, isn't it?
Well, you're gonna get grief.
That's the headline. But what I'm saying is, but I think I would as a Liverpool fan, I'm looking at you going, oh, you're doing it. You're playing well. If you are playing well and you're not added anything to the game, then you're not going to get selected. You're not going to pick you. It's a brutal game, isn't it? It's obviously you were playing well enough to you know, I'm giving you a right big up here, aren't I?
Yeah, you will. Yeah. But you know what?
but
Like
I
that,
I mean it though.
that's
It's like,
the thing about Liverpool, right? It genuinely, it became kind of like a siege mentality where like it was like me and Liverpool versus the rest of the world. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now that's what's so special about the place. If you're in,
they got round you.
like you're just there, you're one of them, you know. And I felt that massively.
Yeah.
Like I felt like I was one of them. And the more that people kind of came me from outside, because they were at the games.
Down to the players, Crouchy.
Yeah, and the players as well. Like all of them, all so good with me. Like I just think at other clubs, you know, you sign a striker after you just won a Champions League. Like look at Havertz at Arsenal, right? Like the amount of abuse he's getting at the moment, right? I just think if you see someone working hard, and to be fair to that, a lot of that noise is coming from outside as well. Because I was at the North London derby after he missed a lot of chances at United, and within the stadium, it was actually really good. You know, I think sometimes we say that the fans are giving them, but actually inside the stadium they're not.
Absolutely, you got to be careful with that, because it's like there's a lot of those, you know, there's a lot of those people out there in the online world who are just all chipping in as they do, and that's not
real noise.
That's not
actually
reflective.
That's what real fans think.
No.
You know, and I think sometimes you can get caught up in that.
Yeah, absolutely. Who are the real good lads that looked up? Who was you really close to at Liverpool?
Liverpool, Steve
really
Finnan was one of my really he was the only person I really knew before I went there. But I obviously knew Stevie and Cara. I get on really well with Steve Finnan. Xabi Alonso was one of all the Spanish lads. To be fair, Xabi, Pepe Reina, Luis Garcia, like the best. Like loved them, got on great with them.
What's Stevie as a player?
Stevie, well, you know,
joke.
That's just. He's the best I've played with, and bearing in mind, obviously, at Tottenham we had Modric, Bale when he was on absolute fire, Van der Vaart, you know, Ledley King was up there. I would put him up there, and obviously for England, Rooney. But Stevie for me, like, he's just by far the best.
What made him the best? I mean, I've got a rough idea, and I've heard people talk about him, but I'm always intrigued to know, like.
Well, regardless of the ability, like his mentality was like nothing I've ever seen. Like, I mean, he'd score 2 goals, we'd win the game, win 2-0, he'd come out of the match. And then afterwards, I'd be like, fuck, you know, we're like buzzing, like almost want to celebrate it, you know. And he's like, already just the next game, you know, like just that's gone.
Really?
And I'm like, give yourself a break, you know, like you just feel like. You just want to sit down and go, that was good today.
Yeah.
Have a debrief. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Whereas he's just like the next game. It's just relentless. But then obviously even in training, like just bossing the game.
So he's showing you this, like he's verbalising it, is he? He's talking, and he's just give us that insight into like training. When
in training, it's just like it's kind of like, you know, when a player is that good, like it's just an unwritten rule that I'm watching world class players. Where's Stevie? Do you know what I mean? Give him the ball. You know, like if you're that good and you're thinking, there's so many players that could unlock a defence there. You know, Beckham, Lampard, Joe Cole, Rooney. You know, but quite often people we're looking to get it into Stevie so he can start things off. You know, Just when we talk about Alonso, people say Liverpool, like he was probably the best passer of the ball. I think Stevie was better passer. Yeah. You know, who's the best tackler in the team? Stevie. Who's probably the best in the air? You know, he's really quick. Play right wing, left wing, right back, left back, centre half, centre forward, and be the best player on the pitch. I think there's many people you can say that about, right? You play any position.
Yeah.
He was rapid as well. Yeah. I don't realise how quick he was.
You just wouldn't want to be in there.
Old schoe skinhead Stevie G going through.
With the Preds with the blades on. Like that.
Oh, makes me feel sick. Let's get off it. Just a man, weren't he? Just aggressive.
First time I ever saw him was when we played Tottenham at in the youth team and he got in the first team just after that. Yeah. And he smashed someone on the edge of our box. Yeah, the ball was in between his legs. He kind of jumped up with the ball in between his legs, and this kid, I think he was out
there.
for 4 weeks. Anyway, he's absolutely smashed him. He's got the ball through his leg, and then he's gone past 2 in midfield, and within a blink of an eye, he's on the edge of the box, and he's hit this shot, and it's rattled off the bar. and everyone's just kind of like, oh my God, who is this?
Yeah.
And then Alan Sugar was watching the game, and he tried to sign him straight after the game.
You're hired.
Yeah, just thinking that.
That's what I'm in the side for. Thank you very much
on
indeed.
the floor was fired as well.
Hey,
It's class.
good stuff.
Because Liverpool, let's talk about your other clubs. You enjoyed it at Portsmouth. You was there under
mate.
Harry. Talk me through your clubs. Go
brilliant,
on.
mate. Well, I'll talk you through it. Like, well, at QPR, that's where I started. But like, I went. Jerry Francis was the manager, and he took me to Tottenham. So that's where I did my youth team, and I signed professional contracts.
While you're on that, sorry to interrupt. You played at Upton Park, and my first inkling of you is a reserve game, and you come out, and being that size you are, I'm looking at him going, God, do you reckon he's got a bit, or do you reckon he's like up to no good?
Up to no good.
Do you know how it is? You're all trying to suss each other out. I tell you straight, and I'm on the bench, and you was class. I got to say, I always remember that. I don't know if you're going to remember the game, but I was on the bench, and I was only there about 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Honestly, your feet was because I'm thinking big man target man. You've heard it 101 times before, but I just wanted to tell you, your feet was unbelievable. Honestly,
Yeah, you know what? Like, because I didn't grow up kind of wanting to be, like, you don't want to be a target man. You don't want to be like, I didn't look up to those types of players.
No.
I always wanted to play with the ball at my feet. I want to be Paul Gascoigne. Do you know what I mean? But then you end up being the height you are, and you've got to utilise kind of what you've been given, really. And I was never going to go past people. I wanted to be a winger. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm never going to go past people, but I had ability, and you could always play the ball into me, and I could get out of tight situations, and I could play. And I think that was what kind of made me different to maybe a lot of the players at my height and size.
I think the mark of a great. Well, we did that. We did the thing when you joined the 100 Club. You remember?
Yeah.
We did a thing, didn't we? Me, you, and Tubes did this. Did an interview. Have you? Really? Yeah. It came up on my timeline. The picture the day we all had our dinner jackets on.
Yeah.
But it's a mark of a player, like the different types of goals. And I mean.
Yeah, he scored
ridiculous types of goals. I mean, you were scoring overhead kicks every other week.
Yeah, I always loved volleying. That was kind of my thing. So like
that one at Stoke.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, I always people used to take the piss out of me because before every game, I'd always try and flick one up and volley it, and I'd have 2 or 3 of them from that kind of area, and I'd always try and pride myself on hitting the net. No goalkeeper in, but before the game, I'd always pop one up and volley it and try and hit the net without a bounce. And I'd always try and do it, and I wouldn't go in until I'd done it. And but then, so I was always confident at that skill. And I remember trying it at Blackburn the week before, and Paul Robinson saved it. And I thought, if I get another chance of that, and thankfully, it just broke. And when you've trained it that much, it's just muscle memory.
It's a liberty.
Do you know what I mean? And obviously, it doesn't go in like that all the time.
Where you hit it from is a liberty.
Is that your best ever? That
I think so. Yeah. I think so, but obviously I like the bicycle kicks as well, because obviously the Champions League one was because it was Cop End, it was Champions League night, it was Tuesday, and it was the way it went in was beautiful. So I do,
What a feeling.
Yeah.
What did they taught me?
Well, that's it. You
was
go
it slow mo? What was it like?
Yeah, you go through like I went through that Barron spell, made the goals sweeter when I started scoring through.
Yeah.
So it wasn't lost on me, but I knew that because I'd scored a couple before. I remember one at Port, like a few like in that way. And I remember Steve Finnan got down the right, and my eyes used to light up when it was behind me. Because if it was ahead of me, it's like you're supposed to score that bang header. When they're behind me, I thought for me it's like. It's almost like a free hit because you're like no one should score from there, but if you do, like so I can do this. Like, so I get this buzz and I think, I'm going to do it. And you only do it when you're confident. You don't even try it when you're not. You just get it down and pass it back.
Weird that, isn't it?
But I was just like, it felt good, and it just sat up perfect, and just caught it so sweet.
When was the period in your career when you were like? You talk about getting in the flow. People talk about that where you're sort of in
flow
that
state.
Yeah, where you're going on the pitch and you're like everything's sort of coming off. When was it your period where you had that?
I think there was. I think it was 2006, just before the World Cup. I think I scored 10 goals for England in a calendar year, and I was just like everything. Every time I put on an England shirt, I felt like I was going to score. And mental. Like I literally. Even if I come on 15 minutes, I'll get a chance, and I just know I'm going to score 4. And I was going through. I was top goal scorer at Liverpool that year and got 17 for Liverpool. And I just felt like, I think it culminated in almost just before we went to the World Cup. I played against Jamaica and I scored a hat-trick against Jamaica. Yeah. And I've been doing things like, I was trying to do a panenka at the Stretford end, right, for England. I'm thinking, number one, I should be taking pens for England, right? But so I'm bullying people off. Like, I think Michael Owen was on the pitch and, you know, I don't think Rooney was, but Stevie Lamps, I was like, I'm having it, like, give me, like, that's, I was like, when I look back on it now, I'm like, who the fuck do I think I am?
Yeah, but isn't it amazing what confidence? That's confidence in your own ability.
You know, and just like I remember, I pulled this ball down and out of
fuck do I think I am?
Yeah, and not only did I take that, I'm taking this pen, I panenka it over the bar. I was totally confident to the point where I just got the skill a little bit wrong. Like the keeper went and it was on. But I just got it over the bar, and then I clicked back in and thought, hold on a minute, you're getting above your station here, and it kind of hit me that.
In other words, you lost your arsehole.
Yeah. But I was on 2 goals, so I went for the hat trick. That's what it was. Then I think to myself, right, I click back in. It's almost like you sober up. You're going like, well, it's the overconfidence. You've gone like, I'm that confident. I've gone too far. And I thought, what a dickhead. And then thankfully I got another chance, and it cut back to me, and I finished it. And because otherwise I would never have had a hat-trick for England. I've got the ball in my office now, and I'll think to myself, I'll always be thinking about
Panenka,
I had an opportunity to score a hat-trick for England, and I didn't
and
get
you got
it.
a bit above your stage. That'd have been horrible. That'd have been nightmare.
Yeah. So thankfully I got another goal, but I did the robot twice before that. And then the third one, I was like, no robot, because
Nah, it's all right. Well done it.
No, right.
Jim spoke about this when he first met up with England, and he was training with the squad, and he was, you know, he knew some of the players at, you know, the levels they were at, and there were some other players that maybe he thought they weren't there, and, you know, not quite at that level, but he was absolutely astonished like how good all these players were. And when he went, sorry, I don't know why I'm telling this story, because you're sitting here next to me, but then you had 2 weeks with the squad, and then you went back to Fulham, and like your game had.
Did your level go up?
Level had gone up.
It's a good question, because I'd like to just add a little bit on that. Or was that because, no disrespect, I was playing for Fulham? Did you have that around you already? Or did you notice when you went in England?
No, because when I first got in the squad, I was at Southampton, you know, and we just got relegated, you know. So, and then obviously I moved to Liverpool, and that definitely helped with being around the England players. But the minute I got there, like, you know, and I don't know, the lads will tell you, but the key players, like the ones who have been around it for a long, long time, they do boxes before you go into the thing, and you know a player, like the minute, you know the boxes.
Honestly,
you know the player the moment you get in the box, right? And I felt comfortable in there, but you see some players, and I won't name names, but you see them, they come in, and you know, they might be scoring a few goals, and they come in, and we do the boxes, but you've never seen boxes like this. Is sharp. This is like the rondos, you know, like pig in the middle. But it's so sharp. Like I remember a couple of times, I don't know how Bex does it. He manages to chip it over people in the box and land at people's feet, and then we just all play from there. Yeah. Mental. It's the quickest box you've ever seen. Yeah.
I was one of them players that stepped in thought, I belong. Nah. Oh, the old moonwalk back. I got around the outside, I think. I thought I'd be the dominator in the middle. Oh my God, the ball was like, so quick. Whoa, slow yourself down.
Right, how quick is it? Good, isn't it?
Like, it's a blur.
Yeah.
That's all I could ever say. It's a blur. And you're right. And you mentioned Bex. I was like, oh my God. I just see Bex as long ranger.
Yeah.
Like, whip. Oh my God, domination, one touch. I didn't have Beck standards there. I was like, that's why he's the governor.
Yeah.
That's
so good.
That's why they are what they are.
He's just literally like, obviously little one touches, but then he's just clipping ones over people's heads, like bang, like no, look, clipping, and like, and then it's down here, like it just how quick the football was. So good. But what I'm trying to say is people can get exposed. Yeah. So if you get called up and you think, right, I'm scoring a load of goals, and then you come in, you go, right, one box, mate, you can definitely get found out.
Mate, it's within the first 2 minutes, mate. 2 minutes, I'm going, nah. Because all my career, I've gone, step into that. Do you know what I mean? Don't be scared of it. We've talked about, don't be, oh, hang on a minute. Yeah, it was horrible. But at the same time, I learned.
He's doing himself a disservice.
And after 2 weeks, though, it come to me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But then I went back to Fulham and it was like
improved you.
It was like so slow.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, even Danny Murphy went, God, you've been away.
Yeah.
You've been away with the big dogs. I was like, oh, mate, give me the ball. But then it just fades. You become shit again.
Yeah.
Like, it's just there, isn't it? It's just like, you're all crap, but I'll be with you soon. It fades after 5-6 weeks.
Yeah.
But that's what I think happens when you play with the elites. They just take you to this level and you sort of keep it.
I'd have been going back in my England tracksuit to training with your green flag on and all. Oh, the crocs. Sorry, lad.
And for our viewers, I just want to take it back before I rudely interrupted you about how good you was at that game up to par. Talk me through your career clubs, because I think you was going to take me through.
Oh, yeah.
Clubs,
So then obviously
how your career went and what you loved.
What people don't realise is I spent 8 years at Stoke. I signed it at 38, retired. Signed it at 30 and retired at 38. I had some great years there, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Under Tony Pulis and Mark Hughes, we kind of evolved. We finished top 10 in the Premier League for 3 years on the spin. That was great, and that happened kind of after almost the best stuff, if you like. When I was at Tottenham, we got in the Champions League. Aston Villa, I struggled. I wasn't ready, I won't dress it up. I wasn't ready for the Premier League till I was about 23, 24. Physically and kind of mentally, I didn't feel right. So when I went there, it was a real shame, because Graham Taylor signed me. Had a really good year at Portsmouth. Yeah. QPR was great for me. That's where I started. Loved it, and it was great because all my mates were local lads and QPR fans. And I scored a load of first goals, and they were always on the first goal. And it was whether or not we could have a night out was whether I scored the first goal. Okay. So when I did, and I looked up all my pals at Loftus Road. That meant almost as much as scoring for England. Like when you see the lads going,
Brilliant. Lovely.
I love that. And they're like, right, we can have a few beers tonight. That that was so special. And I thought, you know what, if that's my life forever, I'll take that. Totally happy. And then obviously things just went great. But the ones I kind of really remember, Villa was difficult because Graham Taylor signed me, and I would have loved to. He believed in me when kind of no one else did. And I would have loved to have done it for him. And
when you say you weren't ready for it, what do you?
I just think physically, I'm playing in the Championship. I scored 20 goals in the Championship. I'm thinking, right, I'll walk into the Premier League, no problem. Get up there, it's totally different. The defenders. one of my first early games was against Tony Adams. Right. I was like, I'm absolutely, schooled by him. Like if you back into him, he's too strong. You don't come towards the ball, he's nipping in front of you. Just can't. He just reads the game so well. Yeah. And then I found it really tough. I scored a couple early, and then I didn't score for a while. And then David O'Leary came in, and I ended up having to leave. And best thing I did was went to Southampton. Then it just kicked on, and Harry came in, and I actually really struggled in the early days. And then Harry came in, and he was like, "Why aren't you playing?" And I was like, I don't know. So I went from basically thinking maybe I'm a Championship player at the end of that season, playing for the European champions and playing for England. It's like that's how quick football can change,
Was that a lot to do with your confidence?
Well, just Harry just came in and went, you and Kevin Phillips, you'll be starting every week. Yeah. Don't know why you're not. And then I scored 16 goals after Christmas. Right. I was on fire. I ended up getting in the England squad, and then obviously Liverpool happened.
Yeah, Harry's class, isn't he?
Yeah, well, he's brilliant with me. Honestly, so good. Well, it's just a simple game. He just simplified people's games, and I think he said he just gave me so much confidence. And I think sometimes, because we're in a world now where we're so obsessed with tactics, I think actually the human aspect of it, actually let's sit down and chat to you. What's your problem? What you feeling? How you feel? Like when you actually talk to people like human beings rather than just the Subbuteo set. Then people will respond to that, and I think you get more out of them, and then you have a better team.
Yeah, well said, mate. I like it.
You talked about Tony Adams there. Unbelievable centre half. Who were the other centre halves that you didn't get much change from?
He was the best. Yeah, he was the best I played.
Really?
Against. Yeah, I was only 19, and I remember we were at QPR when I first played against him, and it was FA Cup game when we drew Arsenal. We said, "Oh yeah, they'll rest a few." Fucking hell, we played against the entire Invincibles. Yeah, at Loftus Road. I was like, oh no. And It was messy. Like Red Burkham and Henry up front
What was
against.
they like?
Oh, you know, I love Carl Reddy and I think it's Chris Plummer. Like that, you know, that was heavy. I mean, they destroyed a lot of people, and it was
You hurt players, didn't they?
that was tough. You know, and midfield was like Petit and Vieira, I think, and
weak
then
link,
Adams
is it?
and it might have been Bold, Ashley Cole, Lauren. It was his team. Perez.
He was all right, Ash.
Yeah. And
team.
I mean that was just a joke, and that was kind of. But so Tony Adams would have been the hardest, but I always found Sol Campbell just like so hard.
Machine.
You know, absolute machine.
Talking of Edge, see Sol Campbell's ad.
Yeah.
Oh, it's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love
Well,
it.
I mean, it's, yeah.
It's left a bit on him.
Outrageous, isn't
It's
it?
quality, isn't it? Absolutely
Yeah.
class.